Hi, everyone.
Hey.
How are you
Hello.
doing today? We are going to have a little chat thing about the differences between um, experiences that are NDE like, NDEs, or other, and we're going to see how they come together. Okay. Um, this is this is kind of a preview for my mine and Sophie's diva den. So we got a guinea pig, Maija BlackCat Tarot. She's gonna be our guinea pig for
I am.
our yeah
I love these
For the
ladies.
dividend.
Yes,
yeah.
I will. You know what? When two goddesses like call you, it's like to come hang. It's like in the diva den. It's like, are you kidding me? I get to be the first one. Yeah, I do. I admit I'm going to take a bit of pride in that. So absolutely. And when I heard you guys mention diva den, I thought that needs to happen. Hi, Flowing. I
Hello,
thought
Hi,
Flowing.
that needs to
It's great to see
happen.
you. But
And hey,
Absolutely.
Ronnie. Hi, Ronnie.
tonight
Hi,
we're going.
Ron.
Oh, there's Ron. Hi. I'm sitting here waving at the camera.
I do the same thing. Look at me. I'm like, oh. Sophie's will only want the lick of sense. She
Hi,
doesn't like.
Teresa.
But I thought that it would be great to make this. Um, it's not exactly an interview. It's more of a conversation, a three-way conversation between our experiences and how they differ. How
Mhm.
so greatly. It's only to show that everyone experiences things in their own way. And so, okay. Um,
That NDEs can be just that term is broad for people to
yeah,
realize.
yeah, because
Yeah.
it's the near death experience when we go through physical death or when we go through emotional death or when we when we fall away and die in one spirituality aspect, we step into another, and that's the way it's always going to be. So,
Right.
as so I thought my NDE, where I actually died and they brought me back, you know, yes, that is a technical term for the NDE, but I truly think that the deeply, profoundly spiritual things that happen to people are an NDE. So, because they had to go through something to grasp and come out of into another.
It's really
So,
traumatic. It's usually
yeah,
trauma
yeah,
based.
exactly. I mean, so it
For
has to get
real.
that emotional response.
Oh yeah, it
Um,
has your complete attention, doesn't it?
okay, my NDE was the traditional one. I had an aneurysm in 2002. I um, I died in the back of an ambulance. It's always hard for me to say I died. I don't know why.
Hmm.
I died in the back of an ambulance and they brought me back. And in that time, I saw light beings and talked with them. And that had a profound effect on my life. But now here's the but to that. But just recently, I had a shamanic experience that to me was as significant as my NDE.
Wow.
And so that's the reason why I got on this topic, on this thought process. So, okay, Maija, you go first because you're our guest, and then Sophie,
Oh,
come chime in with
um,
yours, okay?
mine's
Yeah.
pretty. I can make mine pretty is fairly brief because mine happened during a time when I was having both my children were very young, uh, under the age of 5, I believe, and I was having these lucid dreams that I would go out of my body and go different and learn things I had no way of knowing. Trust me, I'm just not that smart. And I wish. You know, anyway, one of them was I'm going up. I realized that I'm moving towards some sort of tree line, and things become much more vivid and clear, and everything is like all the colors are alive, and it's so vibrant. You can feel the life of everything, and what I experienced. And it was a beautiful, I arrived to this mountainous kind of an area, and there was a large Great Lake in front of me, and there was a mountain like in the distance from that. And I began to like bend toward the water and to see what I would look like, you know. And I looked at my face, and I was that of a male, and certainly not white. And so it was like this, wow, but knowing it was me, I felt like I was completely not just, I've had it where I've kind of like sat in the back seat, so to speak, of somebody's consciousness, and been able to see what they experience and kind of like co-witness whatever is going on. That happens to me a lot through dreams. That's just, the dream is, I think, the time that I'm the most energetically available for something like this to happen. And so once I looked at my reflection and realized, oh my gosh, I'm this man. As I leaned back up, there was this this ray of light that I saw coming from this mountain. And I said a certain word that means holy. I know that. And in a certain language. And then I just had this feeling, gosh, I think it's going to come over toward me, because I could see it moving across the lake coming toward me. And I was just kind of half in awe and freaked out. But I knew that it was just, you know, it was going to happen. So once this light, the shaft of light that was moving hit me, it pulled me up in the air. And it was like I was in like a fetal position, but I was going up, and I could hear what sounded like, as I was moving upward, what sounded like jet engines, like a high, there was a whine, and I could see stars and stuff going, you know, past. And I was just thinking, man, wherever we're going, it's really taking us some time, because we seem to be going pretty quickly here. And it was really like, whoa, I started getting a little freaked out by that. And all I knew was that I wondered at first, like, well, where am I going anyway? And then I could see in my mind's eye, so to speak, that I was going to be going to a place that was mostly an atmosphere of light, and that there was a great deal of wisdom, probably records and things like that. I don't know. I can only surmise, perhaps getting ready for life review or something. But it seemed like it was going to be really, really at a great distance. And that's when something weird happened. It's when my conscious switched from that of this man, who I knew I truly was to know, because I was given to know that was me. I had the feeling, and maybe in my sleep, I don't know, maybe I was in some kind of duress and didn't know, but I thought, I can't leave my kids and my husband, because of my present day situation. I thought, I can't continue, because I thought if I continue, I won't be able to be with them. So I stopped that.
Wow.
And it stopped. And I felt myself get put back into my body. But let me tell you, it's been the only, and I've had many lucid dreams. This has all been since childhood, but that was one of them that really knocked me for a silly, because it took me a few moments after I got back into my body, so to speak, to feel like I was completely focused in here in this body and this. It was so weird. I've never told anybody the complete story like this publicly. Yeah.
Right.
Thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you for
Thank
sharing
you.
that.
That's yeah.
So it was
so
weird.
how well, let's before I asked you, because I was going to ask you that, but I think before I do, I'll just have Sophie go with hers, and then I'll
Absolutely.
ask the questions about it. Okay, Sophie, would you?
Yes, I
share
sure
yours?
would. My stories are not near death experience per se, but more experiencing death predictions, basically. And that it started at a very young age where I didn't understand, but it also at the same time as puberty. So I got my period when I
Oh
was eight
wow!
and a half years old.
Oh
Wow.
my
Already,
God,
it was a
honey!
very dramatic experience,
Ah.
and
Yeah.
that's when I got more into my gifts. And each experience had a very deep impact on me until I said, no more,
Right.
more to do with this. And I prayed for it to go away. First, it was my grandfather. I knew he was sick, it was cancer, but at 9 years old, you don't know what cancer is. You don't know what that means. And there
Yeah.
was a few calls coming home. And during that school year, I completely isolated myself from everybody.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't understand myself. I didn't understand what was going on around me. So I mentioned that when I got my period because I don't know if it's related to that as well. Could be.
Mm.
When it
Yeah. Well, think about it.
Rite of
You're
passage.
dying now. Think you're dying. Your childhood goes away, and you step into the ability to procreate.
Yeah, and you're kind of
Yeah,
like you're not given a. I think you grieve your childhood that you just lost. You have to because
yeah. Well, I don't know. I didn't understand. I
sure.
can't remember
Of
if I
course
knew how
not.
baby was were made, right?
Right.
Hmm.
So anyway, so that school year, I was isolating myself. Phone calls would come to the house, and they would say it's time for my mom to go to the hospital. Never was time. It never was. And I would tell her, Grandpa is not dying. Grandpa is not dying. And she thought I was in denial until one day the phone rang and I started bawling. They didn't even
Oh.
answer the phone. I was bawling. I said, now is time. And in those days, I was babysitting my little brother and my little sister. You know,
Yeah.
at 9 years old, you were babysitting in those days.
Right.
Yeah. It was very
Hmm.
different.
Yeah, very, very much so. But I couldn't babysit. Then there was my my other grandfather. I felt nothing. The phone came, the phone call came, and I didn't answer it. I just gave the phone to my father and I said, "Your father died."
Ooh.
I had absolutely
Oh.
no feeling for that man because he was my father's tormentor. But at his
Oh.
Right.
funeral, yeah, oh yeah, it was bad. But at his funeral, I faced my own abuser. And that is
Oh
the last
wow.
time I ever saw him. I told him off.
Wow.
I was told I was being very impolite. I didn't give a crap. In those days, I would give a crap. You know, in those days, you were listening to mom and
Ladylike.
dad, and it
Yeah.
was in your best interest to be polite. I didn't give a crap. After that, it was my cousin. Migraine started. My grandmother. My immune system went down to hell. And then it was my ex-boyfriend that I saw. And that's when my mental health issues really deepened and became an issue. I had behavioral issues as well, and I've been single ever since.
Well, just to be clear, y'all, she saw her boyfriend's death in the cards, and
Yeah.
then her boyfriend died in front of her. See, so
Well, he didn't die in front of me, but he died. I knew
You
that when
knew
it
it was.
happened. I knew it. I knew it. I got the call and I said to my friend, I know. He's gone. He's gone. I know.
Yeah,
So,
I
yeah.
I've had that happen myself, but not with my partner. And I would, God, I feel for you. I've had it happen with people, others that, but that's the not fun part of
Mhm.
having this kind of a quote unquote gift is that, and you're like thinking, why did they show? We're not asking to see that, but sometimes it's just, I think their way of trying to get us. Ron says, I have seen those too. Yeah, to know that it's coming, and it does help a
Mhm.
bit, but the pain. Mm, go
Well,
ahead. I'm
I've
sorry.
evolved. Yeah, I've evolved since then. I've
hmm
there, I burnt my cards when that happened with my boyfriend. I
Yeah.
burnt my cards. I wanted nothing to do with it. I got reintroduced to my cards later in life, and I started going back into my gifts. The feeling of sensing spirits and entities around me never really left.
Yeah.
Um, but other than that, you know, yeah, I just pushed everything away. I wanted nothing to do with it, and I had so much on my mind that But the thing is, I started getting better when I started exploring my gifts more.
hmm
So when you leaned
that
into it,
was hmm
Yeah,
that was what I
yeah.
was gonna during the time between when we just gave up and said, "Okay, I'll do it.
I surrender.
I'll look into this and I know everything." Um, how how did you deal emotionally with your experience? I mean, did you close it off and peek at it with grief and wonder and fear, or you know, reach for it in comfort at times, or reject it completely, like Sophie? I mean, how did you deal with that, Maija?
Oh, that was difficult because I had two kids and I just had to kind of shelve it. I wrote it down. I journaled it. There was nobody around me at that time to go to with that, but I knew it was significant because I was, as I said, in the midst of having a series of these dreams. Nearly every time my head would hit the pillow, the kids would finally like be sleepy enough to lay down to have their nap. That's when I would grab whatever I could. And so there was this time that I would experience, uh, like I said, significant lucid dreams where I was, in different places that I'd never dreamt of since or before. So
Mm-hmm.
it definitely has made my uh, me desire to know more. It's given me that burning, like a passion that will always exist, I think, within me because
Mm-hmm.
I pushed it away before as well. and then come right back to it and realize, no, I am not a conformist. I never will be. I'm always going to be kind of the one that's somebody that's kind of on their own path, but somebody that reaches out and to others of like you guys, kindred spirit. So it's a tool that I've had to grow up and mature as well and be ready to use.
Right. Yeah, I think. What do you think? I think maturity, Sophie, has a lot to do with this, because you have to go through and do the work on your emotions in order to
Yes, you
It'll-
do.
yeah.
But at the same time, for me, I'm very contrary. If you tell me what to do, I'll do the complete opposite. And there has been time when I met people and I could sense that they would be bad for me.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
I refused to listen to it. I befriended them
Yes.
just because. So, the maturity level has to really help you get to it. Otherwise,
Mhm.
yeah. What
Yeah.
about you, Kathy?
Me?
Katie?
Yeah.
Kathleen?
Kathleen, Katie, Kathleen, Kathy. I was just,
Waiting for the right nickname, I suppose.
yeah. No, I'll answer to anything. You say, hey, you. Yeah. I think that I had fear because I had been I had been special all my life because of my leg, because of different things. And I didn't want another special thing, because
Yeah.
I always felt, you know, my father was a he was a master sergeant in the army, and he always said, do not rely on your leg as a crutch. You have to show people that you are better than they are. You have to show people that yes, I have something wrong with me, but you have to do what,
You have to work
you have to
twice as
be at the
hard
yes,
than
twice as hard.
everyone
So
on.
get to it. Come on. Come on.
Yeah.
Let's
You
go.
got a coach.
Yeah. And um I I was so far down at that point physically. I was like, I can't coach up to this.
Right.
I can't. I can't coach up to this. There's no way.
Compassion
Mhm.
would have been a better choice.
Yeah. It takes a while. Takes a while. It takes a while for you to figure that out. But once you do, it's just like, you when you get into that thing and just accept it, you have so much less stress. I
Yeah.
mean, so much
Right.
less stress, you know?
It's
So,
true.
so you resisted, and so then this flow, when you resist that, it creates a kind of a tension. I don't know about
Friction.
you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. And then, just as you're saying, once you realize the fear is not founded, it really is nothing for you to fear. Just to kind of go
Mhm.
with it, to trust, because we've all
Mhm.
been like, I'm not trusting anybody anyhow. No way, no way. But it's really one of those things where, yeah, like you're saying, you do the work, you move
Mhm.
forward. What?
Mhm.
Well, and
Yeah.
um, how did you
Sorry.
do it, Sophie? I mean, I know you rejected it and everything, but how did um what was the cusp? What was the s- peeling at the wound and getting ready to rip off that bandage? What kind of epiphany did you
Ah,
have after just a hard no?
yeah.
Was it just gradually you accepted it, or was it
I think
something
it's
that happened?
gradually curiosity about prophecies and
Ah,
predictions that got me
Okay.
to this person. And then I started exploring my gifts. And she mentioned to me that I was an empath. And I was like, what the heck is an empath? And then she offered a class in tarot. And, I got more and more curious in remote viewing and things like that. And then
Hmm.
I saw that what I was seeing it happened. And I was like, oh, okay. You know,
right.
so it got me more and more curious. And then I saw that I could use tarot to help myself analyze myself um,
Hmm.
by
That was
studying the
neat.
card. I need to do more with shadow reading. I'll get there.
Yeah.
You'll
And
get there.
I started actually. And
I am very proud. I am very
Yay.
proud.
yeah, well, it was part of the class. So
Oh,
I have
I
to be
thought you were doing
honest
them on
here.
your own.
But it's all right. It's all right. That's I
It's all right because I was like, oh, that's what Kathy meant. Mm.
yeah, and now you're going,
Yeah, I'm like,
But
yes, yes, she finally did it. She finally did it. I'm so proud. And then she, well, it was for a class, and I'm like, darn.
oh, but
it's getting
no,
there.
embrace, yeah, lean
You're
into it,
getting
as they
there,
say.
honey. But you have to do it and see how much it helps. And then you're
Mhm.
like, why haven't I been doing this forever? I'm so
Exactly.
stubborn.
Yeah. But I'm getting
Awesome.
there. And that's the thing. I've been wanting to get out of this hole that I've been in for ever.
Mhm.
Excuse me. And finding help this way has enabled me to go deeper into it. Then I saw YouTube, and YouTube has helped me as well because I was looking at Tarot Reader, and then one day I said, I'm going to start the YouTube channel. And I went on, not doing, it, oh, I wasn't ready. I really was not ready. But that's okay. I went on, and I continued on, and it seems that every step of the way, God is putting someone in my path to help me continue to grow when I would sometimes give up. So
Yeah,
to me, that is a big, huge sign that I need to keep going. I
yeah.
absolutely need to keep going.
Come on,
So,
go, 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 Sophie, 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 go, go.
but yeah, that's to me, that's the thing that is helping me going. And also, my pride is in the way. I have an ego, I'll be honest.
Mhm.
As do
And I'm trying to figure out what to do with it.
I. Sorry, I'm just that was empathy.
Yeah, yeah. The nodding, and the like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Well, we do. We're
even though,
humans.
Oh
yeah,
my
but
God, yeah, it's part
yeah,
yeah.
everybody has to have some sort of ego, but it puts the ego idea into balance when you realize
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
the ego can hold you back just as easily as it can push you forward.
Uh
So
huh.
everything about
absolutely.
ego is not like conceit. And
Yeah, it has
I
its
think
place.
that,
If you have it in balance, it's okay. Is if it's always in charge, then it's a bit obnoxious, you know, to say
Yeah.
mildly.
Hmm.
is it my
You hate
internet that's doing this? Is it
what?
my internet that's doing this?
Doing what?
Is it my internet that's making everything, or is somebody else having problems? because
I'm not
Sophie
having
and
problems.
you
That's why I keep
frozen.
asking you what.
Yeah, me either. You're not
And you're not
lagging.
freezing on the screen. You're not frozen on the screen.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
We'll let you know
All
once
right.
you go like,
I think it's just this fantastic triad of feminine power here that's probably.
Oh yeah.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
the viewers, Joe G says that your internet is fine, Kathleen.
Okay. It's just,
Yeah.
I guess it's just spirit going. Anything.
Somebody's
Um.
playing with us.
Yeah.
It could be
Okay. What? It could be what?
somebody's playing with us. It could be.
Yeah.
Spirit is listening to us and
Okay.
is laughing.
Somebody's
Yeah.
saying like, okay, you
Okay.
guys, I've
Now
got a
what about
message.
what about since we mentioned ego, what about when a prediction is wrong? Honesty and vanity at its most base. I mean,
True.
the spirits talks to the subconscious. Subconscious talks to me, and I speak my interpretation. Do I doubt my gifts? No. There's no way. I never can because they were given to me, and I know I have them. But do I doubt my interpretation of what I was given?
Oh,
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
And
we're human.
yeah. And
yeah.
so, we're humans in a human body. Our confidence gets hit. But do any of us really need a traumatic experience to have faith? Because I have faith that my gifts are mine. They may not be the biggest gifts, they may not be the flashiest gifts or whatever, but they're mine. And I know that.
Right.
And it's my interpretation that causes the problem, but
Mhm.
also be thinking that free will is involved in everything except the weather.
That's
Hmm.
right.
Free
No,
will. You
Yeah.
can't, and so something that I said on Wednesday may not be true by Wednesday the next week because the energy all around that thing changed.
that's
Hmm.
really true. One of the first things I learned with the tarot was the tarot, which you have to understand that it is a tool that you can use to see the most likely end result. If things, key key phrase here, if things continue the way that they have up to the present, here is your projection as a likelihood. It is a likelihood. And some of them we can back it up with intuition and feel like, oh yeah, that's at least that's the way I can only
Yeah,
describe.
yeah, yeah,
That people need
Hmm.
to have that understanding with this tool and not just expect you to reel off
you know.
for their
Yes,
entertainment.
yes. Tomorrow at 3 o'clock, a man with red hair and green eyes is going to walk into your
Into your
show.
life
no, it doesn't work that way, guys. If anyone
and
tells you that, please turn around.
and
Yeah,
sweep you off your feet, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. Doesn't work that way.
No.
okay. Here's another question. Um, the pandemic is a globally traumatic event.
Yes.
How much have you healed spiritually around your from your experience to 2019? And then how much have you grown or healed spiritually between 2019 and now? Or yeah, between 2019 and now.
Oh,
Because, in that entire range of the 2020 energy.
yeah. Huge. There's a lot of things that happened to me with my own health, where I spent about 3 months in with and basically a nursing home after a surgery trying to heal up really bad pressure sores. It was traumatic. The place was so poorly run, such bad condition. I won't go into it here, but it was traumatic just to be there. But I had a couple of roommates that made it, older ladies that made it all the more tolerable, and I was able to help them. But that has definitely, there's been trauma laced in with that. I think for a lot of people, that's something they can relate to, whether other health issues or whatnot. It's been harder, but it's also where I've learned to lean into it instead of back away from it. It's like, if going through hell, just keep going. You got to learn and get through this. And I've been able to salvage a great deal of benefit from it, but no doubt trauma. It's been traumatizing. That's what it is to me.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Sophie?
Well, to me, the pandemic, what has been traumatizing to me is to see the people's response to it. But how it affected me personally, it was during a difficult time for me as well, because there was a problem with my medication. I got poisoned.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I had to be hospitalized as well. But prior to that, there was my friend who was staying with me for a few months, and we had a blast. We would, well, there's an elderly lady that lives upstairs. We would go shopping for her
Oh,
and my
that's nice.
parents,
Nice.
and then but we would be shopping for ourselves too. And you should have seen the food we made for ourselves. We had 4 birds in here. One of them was hers, who kept eloping from her bedroom to the living room, walking on the floor because couldn't fly. So we had a blast that way. But at the same time, that helped sustain me until I got to a point where it was unsustainable.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was tough because of my health situation and medication adjustments. But I grew a lot during this time. As for being locked up, well, I should say we're shut down, not locked up. I was locked up, then I was shut down.
Yeah, I was locked up too. That place was like a prison.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It was normal for me because that's the way my life is. I'm a loner. So my social is by phone, by the internet, or with very close friends. So I would go see them anyway because we were a very close circle.
So it didn't change your...
It changed very little for me.
Well, I mean, I just thought of something that's interesting. The locked up thing and then the laughter. It just occurred to me. During this time, I was locked into the bed because of
Yeah.
So
all three of us were locked up.
Yeah, I mean,
isn't that interesting?
Oh, that's weird. Yeah. Oh, that's just, the more you think about it.
That is interesting.
Really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just hit me. Okay. Have events been moving faster and faster towards ascendance? Or is the higher vibrations we feel just the increase in death globally, as some have claimed? We can state opinions and read cards, whatever you want to do on that.
I just got a really quick answer before I can even, and I've got to give it because I don't always get that. but I get both. I get the answer of both. And I heard it really strongly. I'm sorry. It's like, I don't mean to be
That's
rude,
what
but
I
it's,
feel. That's what I feel too.
and that's, it's, I'll let Bright Opal, I'll let Sophie.
I lost something because I was responding to someone else. What?
Good. She's sleeping. Can you repeat the?
What? Can you repeat what you just said?
Me or her?
You.
Both.
Yeah.
Okay. Have events been moving faster and faster towards ascension? Or is the higher vibrations we feel just the increase in death globally, as some have claimed? We can either, just do it on solely opinion thing, or do it from a spirit, it tells you thing, or throw cards on it. What do you want?
And you said what, Maija?
I said I had an immediate in my inner ear of both. It's both. It's a combination of
That's what
both,
I was
not one or
thinking
the
too.
other.
Yeah, me too.
And it was the
Um,
strongest thing. So it's one of those that if I deny it, then not being authentic. That's it was
right.
really strong.
Because
Yeah.
when I thought up the question, that's what I put on here as when I was thinking of this question, it
Uh-huh.
was like, it's both, it's both, it's both. And I thought, so
We
we can read tarot cards on it, but I think we'll get the same answer.
I agree.
we probably will. I feel that we have to face our own, not ours as a personal necessarily, but we have had to face death
Hmm.
Yeah.
emotionally, with
Physically.
the energy, physically. Uh,
Yeah.
we've had to face death, and whether we like it or not, there was a fibrillation about this pandemic that was felt by everybody around the earth,
Yes. I
which
even
made
had
it even stronger. Yeah.
I had the dream, one of the dreams that came to me prior to the pandemic was just exactly that. It was being shown around the earth. This thing was coming, that the energy was such that it was just like a ripple effect. And
Mhm.
it was trying to show me through earth being something tunneling and just keep going. But now it wasn't, I knew it was not an earthquake type dream. But then I got the dark winds and etc.
Yeah.
So that's interesting that you said that. I got that.
We're very lucky that we live in such an advanced age with technology, medical science, but because, I mean, the Spanish flu would have looked like a cold
Yeah.
compared to
Yeah.
this.
If we didn't have,
So we're
if
very
we didn't
lucky.
have the,
Oh my
yeah,
goodness,
if we
yes.
didn't have the ventilators, if we didn't have the ventilators or oxygen to deliver to people, if we didn't have oxygen
They
to
would be
deliver to
gone.
people,
That would be a lot of people gone right
the
there.
Yeah.
yeah, in the it's at millions now. It's at millions now. I would just be staggered. It would be in the hundreds of millions.
I just think it's, for me, all I know is when I kind of feel into it, it is it is globally significant event.
DFL, hang on, I'm sorry. DFL or DN DFL rocks. I'm here too. I'm new here but old in the tarot community. Somehow you came to me when I clicked on Freebird Spirit, and then what happened? And I put I don't know, and then she said I want to know. So I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
don't know what
Could have
happened.
been a glitch. Yeah.
There somebody may have used the incorrect link, or sometimes when you, all I can say is sometimes when you put a link up, you can end up putting a different one up than you thought you were, as a channel, someone that has a channel and is editing.
Oh, well,
So
Joji says maybe
maybe,
it's because there's most of everybody in the chat is subbed to Debbie's channel too. I
yeah,
don't
you
know.
maybe you hit the different link or something.
I don't
Not
know.
sure.
Well, welcome, Deanne,
Glad
to
you're
the
here.
Fairbox.
Yeah, we're
We're
glad
glad
you're
you're here.
Maybe there's something that you in particular can get out of this.
Yeah,
I
she
don't
says, I
know.
Or
guess
you
I'm
can give
supposed
to
to be here.
us.
That's
Yeah,
so cute. I guess I'm supposed to be.
maybe. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. And maybe
Uh,
you have something to share with us.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
Renee Rogers, I agree with you. Not all of the deaths have
COVID
been.
deaths have been
Yeah.
counted. I don't think so either.
I think it's just like near
Big chunk.
innumerable.
Yeah. A big chunk of it was discounted as a heart attack or cancer or something like that.
What
But
about the long?
COVID was a culprit.
Yeah, I was
What?
just. What about the long-term effects? That and you just answered that. That some people get over it, but they end up having long-term then health issues. In some capacity as well, and their life is also shortened. And
Yeah.
that's
We'll
so.
find that out in the next few years.
Yeah, I think so. Sadly,
Yeah.
too.
Well, okay. How
Mhm.
did your gifts set you apart in your real life? Because I personally have, you know, I, I almost feel a loss at, I have friends that I could talk to, but they will listen like, uh-huh, 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 and they love me, but I couldn't talk to them.
Yeah.
And that I think has been one of the hardest parts of this.
Yes.
So what you got to say about that?
I'm lucky to have a mom that I could talk to about that all my life and tell her
Mhm.
experiences and be believed. That was a real blessing. But even with that, there were things that, like with peers and stuff, you just didn't always want to share that because
Mhm.
I was already odd, as it were,
Mhm.
kind of a loner. I didn't need to go volunteering that. If I felt comfortable and somebody seemed like they were interested, then I would talk about it. But otherwise than that, not really.
Mhm.
Um, uh,
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you have shame for it,
no,
but it's not like they want to hear it and they think you're crazy
Right.
anyway, and so anything you
right.
share with them will just go right.
Yeah.
To
I,
them.
You're not
Yeah.
helping yourself.
I don't, so I guess really the answer is I choose very carefully and discern who I share that with, if I'm talking to somebody and they seem like they have, that's when I would reveal that. But other than that, I just kind of kept that to my mom until I got a lot older and found it's only been recently. I mean, I'm 53 now. I just found this community, and things just
Mhm.
took me out of that, having kids and everything, and health issues. There's all kinds of stuff,
Mhm.
but
Yeah. It's somewhat isolating, isn't it?
extremely. And but
Yeah.
I'm so used to being. And the weird thing, one of the things that happened to me growing up was no matter where we lived, there was never any kids, especially no girls or my own age to
Mhm.
play with. And my own family would say, "Isn't that weird? How no matter where we move." And by then, I just got used to having to entertain myself. That I think to a point that there's a bit of social anxiety that I have to battle. because I had to do that for a very long period of time. I realized that when too many people start I kind of start to disassociate a bit. And it's, it's like, oh my God, that's what I've been doing. Or I just kind of step back. I pull back. I don't enjoy, being around a large number of people. It's overwhelming.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I
It's
have that
overwhelming
problem
for me too.
Yeah. And it totally triggers me. So it's like, no.
It was to the point where when I wasn't coached, I didn't know what was wrong with me. Nothing was
Oh,
wrong. I was
no.
just an empath, and I didn't know how to protect myself.
Oh my
But
God.
it was to a point where Christmas parties,
Yes.
I would go into the not the ceiling, not is that what's
Mm-hmm.
in the roof.
Yep. I
I
feel
can't
you.
remember what it's called. The attic.
Ah.
I would seek refuge in the attic for the duration of the party. So I would show up, just to say I showed up, go in the attic, read a book, sometimes, most time, fall asleep, and then when it was time to go home, I'd get down. Yeah,
And it's, a lot of people don't understand that behavior. They think that, and we don't often understand it, but we just know it's a coping mechanism and it's an absolute must. Um, it's really hard to numb yourself, to cut yourself off. And then while you've got somebody that you're supposed to be able to open up and socialize with, that's really not fun.
Right. Well, okay. I really like Deanna's question. What
Me
do all
too.
the souls who passed from COVID want us to know the most? Because Renee Rogers brought up the all of the people who have died because there's no room in the hospital as well. That should be added to the pandemic. I mean, it
Yes.
wasn't COVID that killed them, but it was because they could not seek
Get.
medical help that killed them.
exactly.
So,
And
but I want to do cards on that, but
Me
before
too.
we do readings,
Mhm.
for people with any like quick readings or whatever, I want us to discuss spirit animal, spirit guides, or stories from first contact or significant happenings, because that's what I want to end the show on. So
yeah.
let's do the question: what do all the souls who passed from COVID want us to know the most?
Okay. Yeah. Mhm. I'm getting something right away. If that's all right to go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
The first couple of cards I've drawn, I tend to read in pairs, is the Star and the Two of Swords. So there is hope, but to stop this, but it calls upon some restrictions, some self, you know, withholding. And I got that again about some restricting, yourself again from gathering, from doing certain things that you want to do. Again, that is really important, not to be exposed to large crowds of people or being too overly social. And denial. Those who have been in denial, they really need to understand it's real. Understanding it's real. And that I think their limitation was of their own belief. You know, it's that it's really a true illness that people pick up. You know?
Right. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that for me, when I see that, I also think of 45, and I think of the misinformation deliberately given. I think it's saying that a lot of those people realize, wow, that's actually real. And for other people, I just get that they want us to make sure we continue the protocol, as much of how annoying that might be to some people to have to actually put on a mask. It's really not that much. And to get injections.
Yeah. Oh.
That's important, because I was shown that this winter was going to be unnecessarily bad because months ago, because people just don't want to. They're in this weird defiant, childish, like, I don't want to wear a mask anymore. It just reminds me of a temper tantrum. And
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
really,
It
it's just annoying out of grown adults. It's like, you've got to be kidding me. But
Yeah.
one of my children see it on a daily basis with where they work. People don't want to have to put on the mask that's required. It's like, oh, for God's sake, you're so selfish. And they play all these games and become insulting about it. They put all this effort into making a scene. So I think what I'm being shown is they need to realize that they can't just go out there and do as they would please.
Yeah. Well, I mean, first I got the High Priestess, and you know, she is the keeper of secrets, the looking beyond the veil, and
Mm-hmm.
she had that's what she's trying to say, for people to look behind the veil, to see that, um, you know, this, to see the ideations that are keeping you from having a satisfactory life. Do you know all of the concepts of fear that are fear based
Yes.
are in your way of happiness, and in this case, you know, even death. Um, you know, the thing is it is, the virus is far more spreadable, far more virulent,
Yes.
and cause and effect is going to be the answer to getting through it, because
Absolutely.
you know, use every tool that you can. If you can't get vaccinated for health reasons, or whatever, allergies, you know, then think of all the other tools that you can use to have a life.
And this is
Because
coming from a
even,
nurse. This is
yeah,
coming from a
Mm-hmm.
nurse. Please listen.
even though, you know, we have that hanging over our heads, have the pandemic hanging over our heads, we still should go forth with life using the best tools for prevention that we have.
Yes.
Um, and we have strength as well as joy, because we you know, you have to you have to use the tools you have. You have to do everything that you can, And they wanted you to know that some of the people who died with COVID did have everything, did use the tools and did, but
Yeah.
it 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 isn't in everything isn't in your hands. You know, sometimes it is the choices that we made and the the um things that we do that influence every single thing that is makes up humanity's grasp on the world. But there are some things that you can't, and you have to have the strength to realize what you cannot change,
Yeah.
and not assign any blame to somebody you've lost about having them to, they must have not done something, they must have not done something, they must. No, no. We have to be strong enough to realize that there are some things that we cannot control, and that's part of the lesson too. And but we know what to do to protect ourselves. If we put up those barriers, we can live joyously and, you know, understand that even though may have to go through and look at the traumas that we had been through because of this death, because of how we are absorbing the deaths that have happened on the planet, we realize that we will always there's always an ending and a beginning. There's always something is ending, so there is a new beginning. So it's, even though we miss them, even though we um we ache for some of our loved ones who've passed, we also know that death is just a concept because we continue on. So that's what I got.
Yeah, my grandmother passed. We couldn't go to the funeral. It was really unfortunate, but I also, what helped me get through that was knowing what I knew, the dreams that I'd had, and so on and so forth, and knowing that it's okay to let go of that I think it would have bothered me a lot more had I not had those dreams, as awful and difficult as they've been to have, you know?
Yeah. Deanne, yeah, it's a very beautiful death card. I
It
love the death
is.
card personally.
Yeah,
It's one of my
yeah.
favorites.
Mine too.
Yeah.
Actually, you guys,
And,
I say that and I forgot to tell you, I'm wearing a sweatshirt that has the death card.
oh, that is so
Cool.
cool.
That is very
What a
cool.
I
dipstick.
like it.
Thank you.
Deanne, I'm very, very sorry for your loss. I know
I'm so
that's
sorry.
difficult.
Yes.
A card that I got for you from the Immunology card deck is that you and your loved ones are safe. Your loved ones are um, on the other side looking out for you, and they love you very much. I was kind of puzzled by the cards I got. So, the first one is basically that is from the
Thanks.
Past Lives deck. This is the souls that are blocked. And to me, that's basically telling me that they are
Hmm. I like that
telling
deck.
us, hmm?
I like
You
that
what?
deck. I like
Yeah,
that
it's
deck.
nice. It's nice. It's in French,
Oh,
but I
that's all
could
right.
translate it for you.
Yes. Maybe
It's
you guys can put the link down after the show.
okay.
Okay.
I will. So basically, this is telling me that people didn't want to hear it, and they
Mm-hmm.
regret that. They realize that they blocked everything, not only for themselves but for others as well. They
Yeah.
didn't want to hear it. This one is basically based on these ideas, betrayals of all the ideas, of all the solutions that we're presenting to them, betrayals of the scientists coming up with all of those. There's regrets there.
Oh.
Amour impossible is basically impossible love. Look at the division between two people. This culminated in further division, and they realize that they are responsible for that. They're telling us we need to stop that. We need to stop dividing. We need to stop refuting the basically what science is telling us.
Gosh.
And we need to stop being blinded to everything because this pandemic, first of all, nature. This is
Mm-hmm.
about nature. This is part of the cycle of life. They happen often, unfortunately. And often when you look at, the Earth being millions or it's 4 billion years old, I think, well, it happened more than once.
Yeah.
So it's part of the circle of life, and there will be more pandemics. And if we want to survive them, we need to abide by the um, the the logic, right? This
Mm-hmm.
card is the card of solitude, and they feel alone because they've left their family behind. They feel sad because they've left their family behind, and that could all have been avoided. So they're saying, don't close your eyes, don't be blinded by anything. Cherish what you've got, cherish what you have, cherish your family. Stop being fools, as in stupid fools, but at the same time, don't stop living for it. It won't get you anywhere.
Yeah.
Still you can still enjoy life. There's a way to do
Oh
it
yeah.
safely and just accept that.
Right.
So that's basically what I got. Does that
Yeah.
fit with what you guys got? Because I was concentrating on other things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's hard
Yeah.
for me to listen to somebody else and look at my cards. I don't
Yeah.
have enough brain power. I
Yeah.
don't have enough
Me
brain power.
neither.
Okay. Okay. Spirit guides or spirit animals or what stories from like your first contact or significant happenings, something that you were not just like, okay, every day I hear things every day, but things like um that first meeting or that profound um profound message that you feel like you have to relay or something like that. So come on, share.
Well, mine's significant one I can share right off the get-go because it came in during those times of dreams that I'm referring to, when my kids were both really, really little. And one of them was where I morphed into a grizzly bear. I was being, firstly, I could just feel myself, and there was these two uh, boys. I could feel myself as a younger version of myself, and they were picking on me. I was getting more angry, and I warned them. And then I just morphed into this bear that scared the hell out of him. And it kind of scared me, but I kind of enjoyed it too, because I could feel myself change and morph into this bear.
Uh-huh.
And it was really important because, you know, if you've ever been bullied a lot, or, you know, within your own household, even this feeling of helplessness is one, I think, why I had the dream. And to realize that I've got a bear that, and I've always been connected to bears, and this was just kind of locked it for me when I could feel myself changing into this form of this bear. But it was under special circumstance. There, you know, I was shown, you know, I was under threat, but it was good to know that they're there. That, and I do have dreams often, not only of the bear, but one time I dreamt of meeting a unicorn. I kid you not.
Unicorn.
A unicorn. And
That's cool.
I
What
went
does
over,
it look like?
it to me, it was radiant. It was this beautiful white maned horse. And I did kind of get a rainbow effect, but I can't really recall, like, it wasn't like painted in rainbows or anything that I remember, but it was beautiful. And it had the horn, you know, the coming up. And I saw it, I thought, I can't believe it. And so I went over and I was just going to see would it let me just touch its nose. And it totally did. And when I did, I felt this connection of unconditional love. It was one of the dreams I love to remember, because that was it. And then I woke up. But I felt that connectedness of, like, we are all part of a greater whole. You know, we just need to, you know, appreciate that.
Right. What about you, Sophie? Or you want me to go?
No, I want to finish with a bang, and I'm definitely not that bang. I think that I've always felt the gray wolf and the turtle, or the what do you call
Tortoise.
it? Tortoise.
It's so hard
Yeah.
to. Yeah, I get that way.
Tortoise. Yeah.
I have. I'm not a reptile kind of person. I have. I look at them and I go like that. But the turtle is the one that I
I like turtles.
despise the least, or get disgusted by the least. So that's good. Then I'm on a good path. And the gray wolf, I've always felt that because of its leadership, maybe, I don't
Oh,
know. And the tortoise,
Tortoise.
is that it?
Tortoise.
Tortoise,
tortoise. Yeah,
Tortoise.
tortoise, tortoise,
there you
tortoise.
go.
I'll eventually get it. I think it's because it's two speed. It's very slow or very fast. It's very fast in the water and very slow on land.
Ooh, good point.
Tortoise. Is that it?
Tortoise.
Tort.
Tortoise.
Well,
I know. Tortoise.
what kind?
Tortoise.
Tortoise.
What about with your own spirit guides? Do you have any? If you said it was, we want to leave with a bang, not, and mine's not a bang story. I'm talking about the bang story. What what can you think of any um spirit guide or um spiritual thing that has left a very big mark on you, whether it's with animals or with angels or anything?
Yes.
I did. I did. I was in Toronto, and I can't remember why, or even if there was a reason, but I was crying.
Oh,
I was crying, like, when it's deep, 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 deep. I was sitting on the floor, leaning against my bed, and I was crying. And I felt a lady dressed in black I knew that she lived there. I knew that this lady was an entity that lived in that house. And she was sitting on the bed with my head on her lap, and she was going like this. And I felt this sense of peace. Oh my God! It was really, really peaceful. So that is one of several events that I I experienced. The
Yeah.
sense of peace that came over me was just incredible. And it was like she was saying, cry. You need to get it out. So cry. And I did. I did, like
Mhm.
sobbing. And that felt so good.
Yeah. That's a release.
Sometimes,
Sometimes
You
you,
know, when you need it, you need it.
darn
yeah,
right.
exactly. Exactly. Um,
Yeah.
well, with mine, this is the most wow experience for me since, you know, the NDE, since I died and saw the light beings and all that kind of stuff. So I was watching a shamanic uh, thing on YouTube, and it's his name's Alberto Velodo.
Hmm.
He's got lots of books and everything,
Logo, yeah.
and he did the drumming and everything. And he before that, before he went into the some people would say journeying, some people would say guided meditation, some
Okay.
people would say it's just whatever word you want for it. Um, I uh, he talked about the south being the snake, the east or the west being puma, the north being hummingbird or owl, the um, east being eagle, and he told all the attributes and everything. So instantly, because of my fear of snakes and my
Fun.
affinity, my affinity with um bobcat, because you know I've had that since I was like 5 years old. My you know he's always been there. So I had in my mind what three things which one's going to show up, which one's going to show up. And when he said, turn around and see what medicine you need right now, your spirit animal, your spirit power animal. And I did that in my mind. And when I saw that snake, I about went, whoa. And now here's the interesting
Oh
part
my.
of this situation. I immediately said, "Oh, if I need your medicine, I need your medicine. You can give it to me, and I will accept it with gratitude. I am sorry, all this kind of stuff." And it kept changing, and it looked like it had feathers around the edge of it. And I thought, "Oh no, did what I said, did I make it different?" And then it became
That's
like almost like a dragon with bird wings and
that's
everything.
like TOT. Oh, God.
And then it returned to the snake. And I gratefully accepted it and all that kind of stuff. But it wasn't until I read on the snake and all of its the serpent medicine, the South medicine. I read on it, and I realized how many cultures attribute this. And then it affected me deeply and profoundly at the time.
Mm.
But then I read that, and I got a whole new aspect that I hadn't even considered.
So like
I
it
was like,
expanded.
it just blown, mind blown, mind blown.
I dream of snakes a lot, and in various means where they're a threat or where they're not a threat. And so it's interesting, and that just sounds like was it Quetzalcoatl?
It's like yeah,
I can't say it right, but I went to go see some things like Teotihuacan,
Mm-hmm.
and it just sounds so much like that's the same, serpent. That's very like
Yeah. Well,
powerful
okay.
medicine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then while all this is evolving, Sophie, we get on Sophie's channel Friday night,
Oh
and
yeah.
Sophie pulled we read each other. We were just goofing off,
Mm.
and Sophie pulled the snake card, that and all this kind of stuff, and I was just going, I mean,
And it was a beautiful snake. I
Oh,
don't know if I have it close here, but it was a
don't look at me.
beautiful snake.
don't look. Well, no, I mean, I'm not like, I can't stand to be in the same room with them, but I can like see them on TV and stuff. I mean, I still get the creepy crawlies,
Right.
but I can see them on TV. But I mean, I've killed a snake with a hoe before. We had a copperhead, and
Oh,
my
well,
stupid dog wouldn't leave it alone, and I couldn't get a hold of it and the snake, and so I had to
you
kill
had
the
no
snake. But
choice there, unfortunately.
Yeah,
yeah,
That's unfortunate,
yeah.
but
We have to remember this is Earth, this is the life we live. There is a circle to life,
mhm.
and we have to protect ourselves. And
Yep.
but that's the card.
oh yeah, I remember that
And,
card.
and that
I
was the
like that
Six of
one.
Swords.
Yeah,
Also,
yeah.
because
It was.
it reminds me of, what is that called, for the
With Mercury
medicine,
on it.
the
Mm-hmm.
medical, the catechus,
Oh,
where
the
you got this
Cussidus,
yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
can't say it right. That's the one I can't pronounce. Where,
Caduceus,
yeah,
Caduceus.
there's two snakes. It's for medicines, for healing. That's one of a
Mhm.
really old. And is it a sword that the snakes are around on that
Yeah,
image?
yeah. There's six swords. What?
Yeah,
I'm drawing a blank.
that is the
Six,
Urban Tarot. That's the Six of Sword.
six of
Here
swords.
there
Okay.
is, I do believe that's Mercury.
Oh yes, I think so.
There's a heart in the middle,
That is
and
a cool.
yeah,
Yeah, I have that deck. I love that image. I think it's a really awesome deck.
yeah, it's a
Yeah, it's
tough
very
deck.
thought provoking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's the
It's
imagery on that is really telling. You know what I'm trying to say? I mean, it tells you so much about what it's wanting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
the Six of Swords being going toward calmer waters. Well, the serpents is over the water. That's it rules the water, and I just think that's a brilliant
Yeah,
thing connected to that.
I remember
Yeah,
swimming before my accident. I remember swimming out where I grew up in Missouri, swimming out in a pond, and you'd see. The minute I started seeing snakes in that lake, I got the heck out of there, man. You didn't have
Mhm.
to, there were snapping turtles and stuff, but they do, and they're quick in
Yeah.
the water. We had
Oh
water
yeah, in the water
moccasins
they're
too.
real quick.
Yeah.
yeah,
Water moccasins. I mean, I
Yep.
guess people think, oh, she's afraid of snakes, and I'm not really actually afraid of
Yeah.
them. Like they gross me out. But I live in rural Oklahoma, y'all. I have to be afraid of snakes
Yeah.
because they live in my backyard.
Right.
It's
exactly.
it's I'm not living in a city saying, ew, a snake. No, I mean,
They're a real threat. Yeah, that you come across
Yeah,
every
they're a
day.
threat. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. They serve a purpose, like Deanna
Yep.
says, but at the same time, we need to protect ourselves. So,
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, you know, as a mother and a grandmother, and the kids going out and being around.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't go out and kill the snake, kill all the snakes. No, but tell them. I guess I'm very cautious. I tell them to, it not to walk in the tall grass, not
Yeah.
to, all this kind of stuff. Do not pick up big boulders to
Oh
see
yeah.
what's underneath it, because don't.
Don't be reaching
So,
your fingers into dark
uh-huh,
places between
uh-huh.
rocks. Yep.
And I don't know
yeah.
how they do that anyway. It makes me so man. I mean, like come out and say, "Oh, my arm was all scraped up," and I said, "What do you do, honey?" Well, I was reaching down in this hole
Yeah.
and to see what it was, and I'm thinking, ah!
That's so funny.
Yeah. Hi, Kelly. Yeah,
Hi, Kelly.
it's the neighbors once played the trick on us, and we had a solar tarp on top of our outground swimming pool to keep the
Mhm.
water warm, because in Canada you got to do that.
Yeah.
And they put a snake in, a little snake. In Canada, they're not that big; they're very small. They put a little snake in there. And I was swimming. I didn't know anything about that. And I was taking that tarp out. I was rolling it to get it out of the swimming pool. And then it came around my neck. Oh my God. You've never seen somebody get out of a
Oh.
swimming pool that quick. I didn't know it could
Mhm.
happen. I think I flew. I think I flew. And I'm the kind of person that says, live and let live. Things
Right.
happen.
Yeah, me
People
too.
tease, haha. But not that time. No, no. I marched over there and I yelled at them. I had never done that before. And they were like, they were kind of laughing, but not laughing funny. They were like, they were embarrassed about what they had done.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh.
mean,
Yeah.
God.
No.
Oh,
No.
oh,
No. Here we have to
I
watch
I
out for
can't.
rattlesnakes. Like if a lot of people like to go hiking or walking on the trails, we have rattlesnakes. Of course, you always get that little rattle, and
Yeah.
most folks are sensible enough, to say, okay, if I'm in their territory, I need to respect, that my house
Yeah.
is also in their areas. So the only snakes down, well, besides the rattlers, that we just have garter snakes, and I love them. They are so
Yeah.
cute,
Yeah.
and
I like garter snakes.
they're cute.
And
Yeah, do
and
love.
king snakes, those great
Hmm.
big, like 6 or 7 feet long,
Oh
black.
yeah, we used to have those in
They
Missouri. They'd go up the
yeah,
side of the house.
they are natural predators actually to their own kind, because they eat
Oh, really?
some of the poisonous snakes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're a really incredible species. Yeah, in Missouri we had them. Yeah, and they help to keep the larger rodent
Population,
population under
yes.
control
They'll
from
keep, you
fields
know,
and stuff.
keep the rats and
Yeah.
stuff out of your barn,
Oh
keep
yeah,
them
you
out of
want them
your
there,
hen feed, keep them out of your goat feed.
and they're
Yeah,
not
like,
they're not they're not vicious or anything. They're
mm-mm, no, no, they're not
Mhm.
vicious.
just
They don't
large,
have
a
that.
little
They don't.
intimidating looking though. Boy, I'll
Yeah,
tell
they
you.
don't have that triangle shaped head. They're not a viper.
Mm.
No, no.
Well,
So,
I don't have any more questions, but it is at an hour and 29 minutes. So,
okay.
do y'all want to do questions, or
Sure.
to fill out the two
Well,
hours, or
Renee
do you want to
Rogers
go
said
ahead?
that she had a question for us if we had
Okay,
time.
no
Absolutely.
problem.
I
No
don't know what
problem.
that question is, though.
Oh, Renee, you can go ahead and put it into the chat log, because all she's got to do is then star it and she's got hold of it. So you can do that.
Really? Deanne DFL Rock says, remember, poisonous snakes cleaned most of the poisons out of our water that we put there. I didn't know. I didn't know that.
Didn't know that either.
Wow. Oh, thank you.
Love your. Yes, it is pretty.
Well, so anybody put your questions down. I have the marvelous and wonderful uh, star thing that I can use now, and
Yep,
I
it
can
is.
star it.
She can
So
just.
I don't. I mean, I'm gonna tell you truth. I probably will still miss somebody's questions. So if y'all see a question that I missed, and that
It's
it's
nothing
not,
personal.
it's please don't take it personally. And if Maya or Sophie sees a question that I have missed, please bring my attention to it because I have brain damage, y'all.
And
So
sometimes,
do I.
thank. Well, I think I had something because when my head hit that ground, something must have happened. I can't
Mhm.
imagine, but I'm very fortunate that I didn't end up with a serious brain injury, and I did see and I do appreciate those like yourself that have had to rehabilitate or had to come through, especially if you've had
Mm-hmm.
an issue physically where you've had to overcome stuff. I know that's not easy, as well as people that, like I was saying, if you that brain injuries are really hard. I had other friends that had severe brain injury, got hit in
I
Australia by a drunk driver who was crossing the street. Changed him.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we all have difficulties, but I really truly believe that the strength that we need to get through it is sent with it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's given to us because we chose a path that got us there. And so, okay,
Oh, and there's a question. Let's see, you got three.
just
Renee.
just around the time of the lockdown in March 2020, I had a dream about an FDNY battalion chief on a bridge between Brooklyn and Manhattan. I
Okay.
was on the bridge with him. I was on the bridge with him, my best friend who died on 9/11. About 2 weeks later, a 9/11 dad that I know, battalion chief, died of COVID. Why did it come to me in a dream? I was on the bridge with him.
Okay. Let's see what we have. And I think just intuitively, your light was on, so to speak. I think he sees that you are capable of receiving his message, and therefore he's sharing something with you. But let's just see. Um, I think also maybe to let you know that he was okay or would be okay. It's kind of a feeling. But let's just take a look.
I get. This is what I just heard, and no cards. I get the feeling that he was wanting someone to know that his his struggle with dealing with everything, that with dealing with the emotions from the 9/11.
Post traumatic stress.
Yes, that was over, and he had joy because even though he was not dying of that, he was dying of died of COVID, he he whenever he got peace, it was only then that the healing could begin. It was only
Uh-huh.
then that he saw that, you know, all of the weight that he had carried, he didn't need to.
Ah,
All of
oh,
the all of the weight that he had put on himself, he didn't need to. And that's what he's trying to tell you, Renee, is take some of the weight off of your shoulders,
guilt and all
because
of that.
because it's that weight that brings you down. And you there's something with your best friend that died in 9/11 there too, but I'll use the cards and see what I get out of it. But
I also got 2 6s, and it is about him wanting you somehow to know, you know, that it's him. He's identifying himself there, but also that again, that he made it, that he transitioned and would be transitioning successfully, because I've got the 6 of Wands and the 6 of Swords here, and he's being transitioned with recognition for what he accomplished here on Earth. Okay, with there's great recognition there for that. And it shows to me that also that it was very painful ending. I think, with his body just expended and exhausted, and had been that going through this illness, I think, for some period of time, really trying to get better, but it just wasn't going to happen. So and he moved on, but it shows that I feel like, on the other side, he's renewed with family, but that it was important that somebody know. He wanted someone that could understand this, see it. Yeah. And the Star and the 4 of Pentacles, that he's at peace, real peace. And that you also, again, I get the sense as you were able to pick up his frequency. You were like a radio channel that he was able to connect with really well. And he felt secure and trustworthy in relating that through you. I hope that's helpful.
okay, what I've got is actually kind of strange, um, but in a good way. I mean, it kind of gave me the chills when this was a very much a planned thing. It was a I know you spontaneously had the dream, but this was a planned thing because of your own defenses and him seeing your own defenses. Um, and most of us, our defense mechanism is anxiety. Okay, so keep that in your
Mm.
mind. The 10 of Swords. I think he's saying that you need to heal from the heartbreak of the past. You need to move on like he moved on. I think I know you're never going to forget someone who died especially in something like 9/11, but I think you're putting too much. It's like your emotions, something, you're putting too much, you're hanging on too hard. You're it says reap what you sow, and I'm thinking a lot of your anxieties are you're piling them up. You're reaping them like they're a garden because you can't let go. And letting go and realizing, yes, my person died, but my person will always be with me. And really feeling it may help with your anxieties in other areas because um you know you got the five of swords with this, and I'm thinking um what all things have you just finally said, oh, it's not going to be worth the battle because I've done it so far? How many things, it's you're in your head too much, and you need to let go of that one aspect. If you can let go of that one, but it apparently it's a big aspect. And remember your loved one. Remember him, but not idolize. Not um I'm trying to find the word. Uh,
Where you put them on a pedestal?
well, yeah, put him on a pedestal, and the it's almost as if as you've gone away from each other in one going to death and one
Mm-hmm.
um staying, it's as if you're deepening the relationship. In you compare any and all relationships that you have to that one, and you're telling yourself, oh, but if he was here, and it would be better. But you need to take the veil from your eyes, realize that yes, it would be great if he was here, but that other person's here, and I have to make a way for myself. I have to make a path for myself without my friend. So, I think going forward, you have to lead with your heart and just be, because all that that anxiety and angst and everything, if you can get rid of any of it, we have so many anxieties that we can't do anything about, you know. So um just be more creative, more childlike. And i think I think the dream was saying that you need this. You need to break out of that that box that your brain has put you in. And the he I think the dream is swirling around both what he wanted and him trying to help you to um to carry on. So that's it. Sophie, are you there?
I am there, but I'm not going to read. I didn't meditate and I can't connect. It's very late for me, so
Okay.
yeah. But
Okay.
I'm listening avidly.
Okay. And
Um,
let's see. Okay, let's see. Can the individual ascend outside of the collective consciousness, or is the one permanently part of the whole? This is what I'm confused about. So, can the individual break free from the collective consciousness?
I
And uh, uh, no, because we um,
we're one.
aren't made that way.
Well, let me put it this way. I think you can refuse. You have free will, but it can't change the fact that you're part of a greater whole, that you're a spark of a greater light. It's just the truth. But if you don't want that, you certainly have the freedom to say, I don't want that.
Yeah. And to live your life completely around in the you space, but I just don't.
Are you going to shine? Is your star going to shine bright in the sky on its own?
Mhm.
That's the thing, which is why we are a collective. Each
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
star
yep,
is
yep.
important to the other for it to shine bright.
We can't ascend to higher realms through our own individual free will.
Can't we ascend to higher realms throughout our? Yes, I think we have
Yes,
the
but I don't.
desire, but you have to do the work.
But I don't, and I
Yeah.
don't think. I'm thinking your definition of higher consciousness and my definition of higher consciousness may not be the same,
Hmm.
because um, the collective consciousness is just where our consciousness goes, so that we can go and retrieve it. We can take pieces of it that we need at that time and grab, and it's a collective thing. So you feel that of ascension with with a disconnect between how to do this, how to ask. I Okay, you're asking if like an angel can ascend you or something for you, so that just you come up here. I don't. I think I'm missing the.
No, not an angel.
Um. I think that the collective consciousness is the human the human race, and if you want to go like bounce above that instantly and not go through it, I, I I'm
No. No. Sorry.
well, purely through free will actions and intent. I don't understand why. Okay, you somebody else do this, because I don't. I'm not. I don't think. I have brain damage, and so I get really really aware that I have had brain damage when things like this come up, because I'm like I'm just not understanding.
So you're talking about ascending
And descending, he said.
and
Ascension and.
descending.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically, are we talking about your spirit ascending once you transition to the other side, and then descending is when you incarnate into a new life?
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Just want to make sure I understand.
Yeah. 'Cause you can go to the other realms when you die. Everyone does, and you don't have to. I mean,
Basically, once you ascend, my okay, this is me. When you ascend to a higher realm, to the other side, to the spiritual world, where I do believe that you learn from the past life that you just had, and then um, choices are made as to where you're going next. And all of that, I believe, is through free will.
Mhm.
And, we're talking about soul contract. You have the choice as to what you feel you need to learn next
Yeah.
to basically ascend into the different um, dimension, I believe they are, or different levels.
Yeah, reality, planes of reality.
Right.
Yes. Yes. So basically, okay, if you look at it from a human perspective here on Earth, okay,
Mhm.
um, I want to be a psychologist. Well, I need to look at what my past experience is at my age, my past life experience, work experience, and what I need to complement what I have in order to get to become a psychologist, right?
Right.
So when you get to the other side, to reach the different realms that you want to get to, you need to look at what you have achieved and what you need to learn next in order to get to the other realm. That is my personal belief.
Yeah.
I think that this is something that could be personal that
Yeah.
those, because we don't remember the other side for the most part, right?
Yeah.
Some do, most don't. So we don't know. What's confusing to me is if this is the collective journey or if it's actually the individual's journey.
Oh, well, it's
It's,
the individual's journey.
You're part
And
yeah,
of a
I believe
collect.
that too.
yeah, it's the but each individual's journey is part of the collective because all are one.
It's just like your experience is something that you bring to the greater experience, and
Right.
kind of if it were like the data of your experience bringing to the bank of all everyone's experiences collectively.
Right.
It's like you've got a family, and just because you're part of a family doesn't mean that you're the dad, but it means you're a part of this. You're you don't lose. I don't believe that you lose your individuality. I believe that it's enhanced, and you understand how greater connected you are um, to everything. And I'm just looking into studying some aspects of the Kabbalah that's, talk about the different realms of reality and how they're constructed, and, basically concepts of
That's That's a good idea, Kilo. Maybe looking into reading on the Kabbalah
mhm.
might help you
I've,
understand it better.
Yeah, I mean, and actually, let's see, let me show this
I've
one.
got some
Um,
great links up in my community tab area for you that I just posted recently because I was
but yeah,
watching some programs on the
Yeah,
she says,
they.
why is the great, or they say, why is the greater good pushed over the individual experience going within? Well, if you're ascending, uh, it's like to acquire ascension. I I feel that in order to bring us closer to affinity with mind, body, and spirit, in order to bring us closer to affinity with whatever God or the universe or source that we're dealing with, we, I mean, they're all one. It's just whatever you want to call it. But in order to, the only way that you are going to have more communication with that kind of energy is to go within. There's no way to not do it. So um, the greater good doesn't have anything to do with it. it's the
And the on the other side, on the other part, comment that you have, we can't change the world. We can only change ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's the uh, oh, I call it the AA prayer. You know,
the
The
serenity
serenity
prayer.
prayer.
the
Serenity prayer.
serenity prayer. Yeah, as long as you can make the difference between what you can and cannot change. Yes, you can change the world. By changing yourself, you are changing a piece of the world.
Yes.
You have an impact on the world. Everybody has an impact on the world,
Yeah, you send out a
whether we know
ripple.
it or not. Exactly.
Mhm. Because the reason why that everybody thinks that gurus and everything are, as I say,
Mhm.
gu- guru. Yeah, that's a joke between me and Sophie because we ain't gurus. But anyway, um, you know, the reason people think, that they're so monotone and so, they don't have all these horrible emotions that I go through, and I'm like, bullshit,
Then you better walk away very quickly.
bullshit.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
we every religion teaches there's one thing that they're all the same, and it teaches be kind
Hmm.
and
Love one another as you would love.
love one another.
Love.
And there's love is the and so every thought that we have in love, we are sending that energy out. So it is a whole lot easier on everyone around us, everybody in our community, everybody in the world, if we send out lots and lots of love.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
as far as the ascension and all that kind of stuff, I don't know until I get there, or maybe one of my guides will tell me, sometime in meditation. I'll be sure to share it with you. But
Yeah.
I,
For real. For
Mm.
real.
you know,
Yeah. We are all learning.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, Chrissy.
And Footprint Tarot. Hello.
Cool.
Yes.
Hey, ladies, how are you doing?
This is
She's
Cecile.
my my peoples. I love. Okay,
Hello,
I'm
Chrissy.
I'm 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 showing myself, but I love to listen to her.
Oh.
Her Australian accent and her giggling just
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I know.
it just heals my soul.
It does.
Sure.
Doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well,
Well,
it
it's been
is
two
almost
hours.
2 hours, and so we are going to um
Say
call it a
good
night,
night.
y'all, because
I'm
we're
pack
all are
trapped.
me and Sophie are fading fast.
Oh God.
So,
Yeah. It's much later there for you.
so
Yeah, it is. It's 11.
Oh my
mwah,
Lord. Yeah.
mwah,
Mwah.
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 Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.